Welcome to Connect 4, and thanks for watching. Today we're going to be discussing strategy, and in this example right here we are playing as yellow. Our opponent is the computer, and the AI is set for the maximum difficulty level. Now I will say this, there are some problems in the line of thought, but it's pretty challenging, I think, for most players. So I'm going to break down how to beat them strategically. And then after that, we're going to work our way to several other games. And we're going to look at how you would play against a tougher opponent that takes a tougher line and stuff like that, and where you find traps. And one of the things we'll look at, and not necessarily this game right here, but other games we'll look at, and I guess it does apply to this game. What you don't want to do early on is you want to not set traps early on. You want to try to set them in the middle of the game, going first. And the idea is that as we're trying to set a trap here, we're going to go to the right. Okay, we make a move to the right. The idea is that you set up a trap for the end. So I'm playing to set up a trap in the end. I've controlled the center, and I'm trying to look for different ways to... What I'm trying to look for is multiple ways to make 4 in a row to the right side, because the left side is kind of taken up here. And one of the things you always have to watch out for, of course, is if your opponent gets 3 in a row, you gotta watch out for that trap. Make sure you catch it, because it does work some of the time against beginning players and stuff like that. Like as you see, they went for 3 in a row right there. Okay, that's an easy block. The problem is, if you're playing against an astute opponent and they catch that, you wasted some space. And there's only 42 pieces on this game, so you don't want to waste. You don't want to waste space. So what we're looking to do is set a trap to the right. We've got this spot right here, I believe. This spot I got the yellow on. That spot right there, we got one way to get 4 in a row. We're trying to get 2 ways, so we're not going to put a piece there. We're going to get it later. That's the goal here. So we're going to use most of the pieces up here. And we got to watch out for the second, or the second spot right here. We don't want to go there yet. Because there's one way that red could make 4 in a row there, so we got to watch out for that too. What we're trying to do is get our opponent to go in the last spot, and they will in just a minute. Okay, there's a piece. There's another piece right there. Okay, this piece right here, we're going to drop it. That gives us 2 ways to make 4 in a row, and that last open, it will be the last open spot. And unfortunately for them, there's no way they can stop it. And this is what I'm referring to in, setting a trap toward the end of the game. You want to either go to the right or the left, try to set it where there's 2 in a row or whatever, and they can't do anything to stop it. In this example right here, we are playing as yellow. We are second to move, and it's a little tougher this way. One of the early traps that some people like to do is put 2 in a row on the bottom. I don't like that trap. The reason why is, it does work if a newbie doesn't see it and they don't block it. But if they do block it, you're given a valuable space in the center, which can result in either a tie game or losing a game that you could normally win. So here they go for 3 in a row right there. I don't like that setup, because, yeah, you got 3 in a row, but you wasted some space in the bottom. The most valuable real estate, in my opinion, is to the center. Now we're going to go for a block right here. We're trying to get, we're actually going to force them to block. They're going to block in the 3rd spot right there. So, okay, now we put our piece right here, and we blocked off the second spot. If they go to the second spot, we can make 4 in a row. Now we have to be cautious, because spot number 5 right here is also blocked off. So you don't want to go there. So our best move right here is just going to be control the center. And there's two pieces that make the center valuable. First is that there's a lot of ways you can make 4 in a row. But even if you can't make 4 in a row, what makes the center valuable is that your opponent cannot make 4 in a row if you have a piece in the center. So that's something to think about and consider there as well. So here we're going to block their 4 in a row. There we go there. And now what we've done is we've set up to the right where we can make 4 in a row one way. So that's good for us. And remember, we have the second spot sealed off, and we have the 5th spot, that's this right here, we have that sealed off. So we're not going to go there, of course. And we can't go, or 6th spot, sorry. We can't go here. We cannot go here yet. We're going to go to the right. They're going to go to the right. We're going to go to the right again. And, oh, by the way, they're going to go here. So we're going to block that off. And then we're going to go here. And then now they were basically trapped to the right or left. There was nowhere they could move. So we played the long game. We set up the trap to the right. We set up a trap to the left. And there was nothing they could do about it. And we get the W right there. We're going to save our best and most complicating strategies for this last game right here. And this is how a typical game would go against a really tough online opponent. Both players play for the center right away. Red is playing first. Red has a couple different traps it could go for. It could go for this spot right here, or alternatively, it can go here. We're going to go to the left on this one. And red is basically looking to set up a triangle, looking to find ways, multiple ways to make 4 in a row. So blue's best bet is to go right here and block that, okay? So red's going to go here. Now blue's going to set up its own triangle. Red's going to counter. Blue's going to counter. And I think red's best move here is to just stay on the top. They can go for some traps later to the right, but they're not going to... I feel like the top move helps a little bit there. So, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to take away blue's potential to win at the end of the game. Now you got to watch some of these spots here. You want to be very cautious. There's a lot of different ways it could be won here. So it's up to blue now. So blue needs to figure out some ways to make 4 in a row. One valuable square would be, not this one, but this piece right here where the red piece is. That would be a very valuable piece for blue. But blue needs to entice red to go, to put something there. Another option for blue would be to simply go right here and just force the issue, which that's not a bad idea here. So blue's going to go right there. Red has to move. Now it's blue's turn. Blue can actually block some of the ways that red can make 4 in a row in this square. So you can see there was 2 in a row, 2 different ways. So blue has blocked that. Now it's red's turn. Red is going to block blue's setup to the left. And now it is blue's turn. Blue doesn't have any value really of moving to the left side of the screen, either in the 1 or the 2 spots. So the question is, what would be a good move? Well, blue doesn't want to go here, but, you know, blue does have to consider blocking. Remember the center. If you remember, red has 2 right here. Does blue want to go and block right here when red can just go here and red can still make 4 in a row? You know, that's the trade-off there. But now if blue does go here, which I think they should, they stop red from making 4 in a row in the top corner. So that's, I think, a decent block right there. So red's next move is going to be right here, looking to set up a trap. Basically, red is forcing blue to move in the 7th spot. If blue were to move anywhere else, blue's going to lose the game. Let's say blue goes right here. Well, red can go right here. Blue blocks. Red wins the game. So blue has to go in the 7th spot right there. So now it's up to red. Red can block one of blue's moves. Well, red can block a couple. Red can block here. Doesn't help a lot. I think red's best block is the 6th spot right here. It's going to block one way. Blue could make 4 in a row. And that's one of the things you want to be able to do. You want to be able to block ways your opponent can make 4 in a row, and you want to look for the move that gives you the best chances of making 4 in a row. Because if your opponent makes 4 in a row, you can't win, obviously. So what exactly is blue's best option here? 1's not good, 2's not a good spot. Blue would like to have a spot where that red piece went right there. But blue's not going to be able to do that. Blue also needs to keep in mind of the trap that's set up right here. So what blue's best move is to simply move to the 6th spot right here and block red from setting up its own setup where they've got 2 different ways they can make 4 in a row. Because they've already got 1, we don't want to give them 2. Now for red, red's best move is to simply block blue right here. So all the movement is going to take place here. Blue blocks, red blocks, okay? So now it's blue's turn. None of these moves really add any value. Blue can't go here. Blue is essentially trying to play for a tie. Okay, let's see. So blue can go at any one of these spots. Blue goes here. Let's say red decides to mix it up and go right here. Okay, now blue can force the issue. Red has to go here to block. Otherwise, red would lose. So now it's blue's turn. Blue goes, I don't know, right here maybe. Red goes here. Blue goes here. Red goes here. Blue goes here. Red here. Blue. Now it's red's turn. Blue can block. Okay? Red's turn. Blue can block. Now red blocks, and the game ends in a tie. So that would be optimal play from 2 players where it ends in a draw. If you miss something in there or you don't block early on, you can be in trouble. That right there was an example of like the toughest online game that I would ever play, where it ends in a draw. Obviously, if you're playing a second player, if you're playing against somebody that good, that's about the best you can do is force a draw. So a couple things to take away there, and that is both players obviously went to the center early on, then went for traps, but after the first round of the center, both players kept going to the center, trying to set up, I like to call it a triangle, but setting up multiple angles where they could make 4 in a row, and then making it a little bit complicated. And by complicated, I mean, well, okay. So one player has, let's say the red has to the right where they could make 4 in a row. Okay? What red's trying to do is set up a second spot to the right where they'd have, let's say spot number 5. If they could find 2 spots in a row where they could make 4 in a row, they're going to win the game. So blue has to be cautious to block that. So, blue would like to set up some traps up top too, which they could do, but you gotta watch out for the traps in the bottom where red could have 2 spots in a row where they can make 4 in a row. So that's one of the things you take away. You could have a trap set up on the top, and that works for the end of the game, but if your opponent doesn't make it to that spot, it's a worthless trap. So you want to only set up traps at the very top as a last resort, and you want to be very conscious of how your opponent could set up, like we did moving first against the computer. We were able to set up to the right side and get 4 in a row both ways. You want to be very conscious on trying to block that, playing a second player. You're really on the defense when you're going second. You can win games if your opponent makes a mistake or two, but if your opponent is playing like perfect and really tough, you're going to have to play for a draw right there. So anyway, that's my thoughts on this really, really tough game, which I've only played a few times against an online point where it gets to this. But yeah, you gotta watch every angle, and you gotta think multiple moves ahead. If you can do that, you're gonna be tough to beat. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and wish you good luck.